Andre Wade was just released. Once again, just come to talk about some things and reminisce on some things, well, what took place and what goes on inside the institution. I was I was sitting here thinking. First of all, I just want to pray peace upon y'all families. As I sit here, it's cold outside, so I'm sitting here with this warm heater going off. Yeah, sitting back, relaxing, and enjoying me old karate movie, you know. Yeah, cause that's what I like. I like action, but I pray peace upon y'all families and that all is well with those who are incarcerated, female and male. Once again, I told you, when you tell somebody about just release, don't forget to tell them to hit that like button. To hit that like button, they're gonna like it. Today's show is about rats. Rats, and I ain't talking about them four-legged rats, them little rats, that they be running around. I can tell you a story about a rat that we used to have. Big old wood rat we used to have in the commissary inside the kitchen. The commissary is a place where they have all the goods at, right? And they had this rat, and this rat they practically raised, and this rat would not get into none of the things that's back there. No sacks wouldn't tear up. It will beat up other rats. Yeah, it will beat up other rats. And this rat was like like I say, it was a pet. But the rats I'm talking about, these are the two-legged rats. The two-legged rats. The ones that go and smile in your face and hang in your little circle and go tell it on you. Yeah, them rats. Them the ones that talk. We got to be careful them rats because we even must got them out here in the streets. Yeah, in our circles. Smiling in our face and going telling it on you. I remember there was this guy before the gangs really had started spreading throughout the system, and I was on East Ham when they had some Crips was coming, youngsters, and all this here, and they had this one guy they called Capone, and he was a Crip. The East Ham didn't know nothing about this here gangs, so they had a gang intelligence lady, Miss Robinson, and this man told this woman about all the signs. I'm talking about everything that went on with gangs. And I never forget, we was coming down the highway one day, me, him, and another uh, couple guys, and they was some lokes of his. And I never forget, we had got by the searcher's desk, and the searcher's desk was like in the middle of the unit, the farm, the building. Big old searcher's desk, right? And they had, like rank be sitting up there and the desk boss that runs, the desk. So Miss Robinson was sitting up there and she said, "Hey, Capone," call him by his nickname. Capone. The man stopped at the desk talking about it. And then he went and some no-lo started coming by. He was trying to hit them up in front of her, and they was like, "Hey man, what is you doing?" This man said, "Oh, she cool, she all right," and had all the Crips that was coming on the farm locked up. They was getting locked up, and he was still walking around. This is Capone. First time I ever met him was on East Ham. Again, I ended up getting shipped to the Hughes unit, and this was the time when I got to the Hughes unit. It was a lot of Mandingo warriors on this unit. A lot of Mandingo. Mandingo really ran the unit at this time. And 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 what I did was I had a master plan. I had a master plan for system laydown. And at this time, phones wasn't really in the system then. And so, but we had a way of communicating outside that we could have got, news around the system. And what we was gonna do, it was gonna be a certain time that we was gonna lay it down. And what we was laying it down for is to get paid. Because, I was telling you in my last show about the system need to be paying the inmates. Well, one thing I didn't explain to you because I have seen some comments about uh, how they supposed to get paid. Well, right now they supposed to get paid by good time. This is what the law did. The law gave at the time when they tried to pay the inmates, and they said that the inmates rather the good time and furloughs. At that time, when they did that, wherever that law was placed, it was beneficial for the inmates. Inmates was going home. They was doing a month on a year, and they was getting out. They wasn't getting no sit-outs and all that like they doing today. Well, today's time, parole isn't the same. They say they get good time. So if you get good time, and like I said, if you're doing a 1/4, and then you get to the 1/4, and everything is required for you to make parole, then you supposed to be making parole because you done made the 1/4, and you everything that's in the law it requires to you, and you supposed to go home, but they're not. But not to get so much off of the conversation, that the rats, this guy Capone was on the Hughes unit. And like I say, and I was at that point, I was so close of getting it done. They shipped me from the Hughes and sent me all the way to Abilene to the Robertson unit. Yeah, got rid of me because I was gaining. I'm a neutron, right? And I was gaining too much power among the gang members, but the Crips, the Bloods, and like I say, the Mandingo Warriors, and all the hood, the woods, and all this, white boys and the Mexican gangs, because that's where it had to come from, the leaders of the gangs, because the followers gonna do whatever the leaders say, and this is what I had going, and so I seen it one day, and we seen it, we seen Capone talking to, and we seen him point at me. He pointed at me. But he told this loc something else that he was talking about. And all the time he was giving me up. And they shipped me to Abilene. Broke that whole thing up, because when I went to Abilene, I was way away. I was way away. And when I got up there, it really wasn't no unity towards, the inmates. They was all against one another, fighting and everything against one another, instead of trying to focus on what was at hand and what needed to be done. And they didn't follow suit on it. So that broke that weakened that bond I had of trying to strengthen something that needed to be done throughout the system. And that was to get paid. But the rats in this system, it is strong, because I remember when I got told on one time. I got told on, and I remember what the major, when they brought me in the office, what he told me. He say, Wade, he say, one thing I know. He say, our snitches, I believe them. Because they had been snitching for so long. They had been snitching on guys and busting guys. And the man told me that they believe them. And they was trying to bust me because I had a law at this time. And whoever told them knew what I was doing. So that was a rat among people that I was dealing with. And this was a time when when I was learning about doing time in the system and dealing with inmates on a daily basis, and what kind of inmates. And I found out, that if you seen something and that's the only thing that you can tell of what you seen, then that was the outer circle rat. That rat there, it wasn't inside the circle. So what happened was, when things started being hidden from the outside rat, they didn't have anything to tell. They couldn't tell because they couldn't see. So what happened was, the inner circle rat, the rat that was in the circle, started telling it. And when they started telling it, that became real bad, because they was a part of the circle. And then the snitches today was inside the circle, in the streets and inside the institution. they're inside the circle. You know, it's not because if you can't see anything outside of the circle, you can't tell nothing. So what happened was things that started being hidden from those outside of the circle. And what took place was the inner circle guys, the inner circle rat. It's hard to catch. It's hard to catch an inner circle rat. You ever just tried to catch a rat with all kind of stuff? You put cheese, you put peanut butter, you put all these things, and that rat still won't go to that trap until you find the right thing. You find the right thing to catch that rat. And that's what took place inside this circle, inside the institution. That rat got. That rat has been going all around the system, telling it. Capone was telling it all throughout the circle, inside of fitting in, blending in. And I never forget another guy. He was from San Antonio. They called him Red. Was the same way, stayed funky fresh. Goes in his mouth, stayed starched down. Was a rat. He was a rat. And there's so many of them like that. There was so many I can just go on and on. Dudes in the circus started in the circuit the homosexuals that had snitch jackets on their back. Oh man, he alright, he alright. And then they say in line to say she alright. Yeah, come on, how is she alright? That's not even a she, that's a he. That's a rat. The rats. We gotta keep them up out of our circle. See, if you was getting ready to do some time, you got to remember this. The rats. I don't care what it is you do. And if you're doing anything wrong, keep the rats up out of your circle. Because the rats is smiling in your face. And they hard to catch. This is Andre Wade with Just Release. And I'll be back with something else.